So the realtor didn't know anything about lots. And so I knew from my experience that, like it was mentioned, you got to find a realtor that knows something about lots. Realtor comes up and shows up and they don't have a clue what this is worth. You know right away not to work with that person, you know, and not to be harsh, but you got to work with somebody that's sold a lot before usually, or at least came prepared and can give you nearby locations of lots that sold and as recent as possible, stuff like that, right?
We went because it was quicker for us and got a couple of, like a smaller sign for sale sign and then a bigger one for a frame with an arrow saying, like we wrote on it, 1 acre available, lot available, and put one sign up at the property and another sign up at the corner. And
we put that chain up in order to make sure nobody could access the property too, close off the fence like that. Yep.
There was 2 different evenings that we spent doing some things at the property. The one was just checking it out, and the next one we were actually working on it. And in the process, we actually met 3 neighbors. Because the property had been vacant for so long, people wanted to know what is going on here. So in that process, I got a lot of information. The really primary information came from a fellow named Ed, who showed me exactly where the water access was to the lot, found out where the power is. He knew that there was sewer to the lot. He gave me the history on the lot itself, who the owner was, what he did, how the house came, how it went, and what the fight was with the city. He gave me all that background. And he also brought in a second neighbor. They came a second time while we were out there and visited, and the guy said, yes, this is what it was used for. And they gave us information about the neighborhood. You know, we actually ended up getting his phone number, and that helped me even this week because I was able to call him and I said, you know, so-and-so is interested in it, but I don't have all the measurements. It's not telling me how many feet by how many feet long. He went out and stepped it off and measured it for me and got back to me with that. And there was the second neighbor had said, you know, I made an offer to Charles for this property myself. So then through the primary neighbor, I was able to get a phone number to check up on, are you interested in it at this point? Talking to the neighbors was really a huge thing. It gave us some peace of mind about what was going on with the lot, really gave us some peace of mind about it. And also, Ed was able to tell me, yes, your signs are still up. So it's been really key to have that connection. The next day when we got home, there was already 2 messages on our phone with inquiries about the lot for sale. And then even inside of a week, there was a 3rd call about it. So I followed up, and at that time I didn't know what I was going to be asking. I wasn't sure the selling process, how to ask for, you know, what percentage to ask for. But in that conversation, one of the fellows threw out the figure of $80,000. And since then, I have a formal offer from number 2 guy. Number 1 guy declined after I got back to him. Number 2 has given us a formal offer of $65,000. Number 3 guy, the one that first threw out $80,000, I've been having to get him more information, and he's getting back to me inside of this week with a formal offer.
We talked to home builders is what we did. That was our strategy in order to sell the property. We knew that we had a lot that some guy out there is going to want to build on with his company. And so we thought, instead of sitting on our hands, we can go out there and we can find that guy and make the phone calls ourselves. So we called home builders, and then we got a hold of about 6 or 7, and then we got some offers, yeah, like you say.
So it's only been a month. We already have a formal offer on the place. We actually can't do anything until we get the deed in our hands, which could be another month or more. But we aren't going to wait until we have the deed in our hand to start procedures. We're going to move into this.
This is the point I'm making, or we should be making here, is that there are often little things that'll cause a lot of bidders to just move on to the next one, and these are the ones that stand out as being the prizes.
And I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be in this program, because what I see is that I mean, I have a daughter and a daughter-in-law who are raising families, and why couldn't this be something that they do from home? And already working with Quin, so this could be really good for our family.
I have made in the last 6 months 2 times what I would make in 1 year. This is what we're going to do. Because I quit my job, and our goal is to have Stan quit his job, so once again we'll be working for ourselves. This is going to be our business. And, you know, the possibilities are endless, really, that we could be doing it full time. We could, we'll be having help from family, and everybody can be investing, whether it's time or money. And we love to travel, so we'll have the opportunity to see lots of different places. Yeah. I could work this around my life instead of my life around my job. I worked this work around my life. That's a whole different thing. I still wanted to follow Ted's policy, you know, guideline of buy low, sell low, give the other guy a deal too, so you can sell it more quickly. So I knew this man was getting a deal. He knew he was getting a deal. So he did come up to 130. He sent me a formal offer, and then I went over that with my highlighter. I did get a lawyer at that time to help me with the jargon. There was no middleman. No, he wasn't using a realtor. So I just had a lawyer from that county go over it with me, and then at a certain point I just thought, I don't want to pay all the closing costs. I don't want to pay the extra insurance that a tax deed this is going to require. It's insurable, but it's going to cost more. And so the lawyers and my husband were like, get him to pay for it. So because I was encouraged by his 3 visits that I knew about from the neighbor, I thought, he really wants it, I'll ask him. He gave me $5,000 more. Then, as a Canadian, the closing papers, closing documents had to be signed. And I had to travel to Montana, which wasn't very far from me, to the closest U.S. notary. So I signed the papers down there and then FedExed them over to the title company. And then they just wired the county the money to my U.S. bank account that I have in Montana. I don't live very far from Montana, so that's an easy fix for me. And so we closed, signed the documents on Tuesday. They had them Thursday, and I had the money on Friday. We paid around $34,000, which was 27% of the assessed value, $120,000. And then 6 months later, we were able to sell it for $135,000, which was 3.7 times our investment. I am keeping my contact information for the people who are interested in this property that I bought, because in a year maybe they'll be interested in another property, and I can call them and I can say, this is Shannon from Alberta, remember me? I had that lot a year ago. Well, now I've got this property. Is it something that you might be interested in, or someone you know? Yeah. So I right away have a list, and there was probably a dozen. So, you know, I've got some contacts. So I will want to go back to that area again. And each area that I go to and have response from, you know, I will develop a portfolio for each area. Yeah. And I suppose a person will, as you know, sample different auctions, different counties, different states, and then learn which one you like. Or, you know, I know some friends that went through the program as well that are from Alberta, and they have grandkids in a particular state. That's the state they're going to be doing tax deeds in, right? Because they'll go down, do an auction, see the kids. Sometimes there's a concern about this tax deed and what kind of a deed it is, and is it insurable and that sort of thing. And all I needed was, all the title company required was a contract, a buyer-seller agreement for them to initiate the research on it. So once I had that, then they could start the progress to see if there were any other lien holders on there, which I was sure weren't, but they needed to investigate that and to see about the insurability of the lot. And so there was some fear in that process of what does this mean, you know, but it's not a big problem. It's just something that has to be worked through. In the beginning stages, when I was, the 60, when I was going to double my money, those were the contractors. And, part of the reason that you sell low is so that you don't have to worry about the other issues. As the price on this property went up, and there were individuals with less experience, then the tax deed became more of an issue. What does it mean? But all it was is that it just needed to have some research by the title company, and it proved insurable, and there was a higher premium that was required inside of the first 3 years, but the buyer was completely willing to pay it. So it really turned out to be not a big deal. At one point I had some advice about getting a realtor, and we talked about that, but I was really felt like I wanted to talk to the people, and I wasn't afraid of that, and I didn't want to pay the realtor's fee. And that seemed to work out for me. Having said that, I think on other properties I might just sign it over to a realtor and develop a relationship with a realtor. And I've got a relationship with a lawyer now, so that understands tax deeds better, now that I've educated him on it, because even though he said he knew about it, I had to show him some stuff about it. But so you just get a team, get a team to do that. So I wouldn't be afraid to do a deal without a realtor, but I wouldn't be afraid to do a deal with a realtor, so people just have to do what's comfortable for them. Mm-hmm. Well, when I think about how it's changed my life, I feel more like myself again, because I've come out of that rut of fear and the 9 to 5, and I am my own boss again. I have more time with my family, I have more time with my husband. Although there's a sense of responsibility, I'm not answering to someone else. I don't have, I was visiting with someone that I used to work with. I don't have all those personal gossipy, all those issues there. I don't have someone telling me when to be at work, what to do, when I can be there, what funeral to go to. I've been able to go to funerals that if I'd been working a 9 to 5, I wouldn't have been able to go to. Wow. That makes a difference in a person's life. When you can be connecting with people in your life as you wish. 1 year after meeting Ted.Thomas, I am a happier, wealthier person. I feel alive, and I feel my potential more than I did a year ago.